Good morning. In this week's Sidra of Vayeishev, we read about the shocking incident of the sale of Yosef, the way in which his brothers almost kill him and end up selling him into slavery. Terribly difficult and emotionally harrowing story. And there's one verse which really caught my eye this year from its cadence and rhythm. When the brothers have taken Yosef and they're about to throw him in the pit, it says, Vayafshitu et Yosef et kutunto et ketonet apasim asher alav. They stripped Joseph, his ketonet, which means shirt or coat, the ketonet apasim that was on him. So this is the special coat, whatever made it special, whether it was the multicolors, whether it was the fabric, whether it was the length of the sleeves. There are all different opinions about exactly what ketonet pasim, the special cloak, was. But what happened was they take Joseph, they take off his coat, they take off the ketonet. Now some of the commentaries say this is all describing the same thing. They stripped off Joseph and they stripped off his coat. Which coat? The special coat that was given to him. And some say that this is the reason it's giving you it's building up to the coat. They didn't just take off his clothes he was wearing. They specifically took off his coat. And why? Because this was the special coat that their father had given him as a sign of favoritism that had caused so much jealousy and pain for them. That was the source of all of the hatred and enmity. They stripped Joseph and they took off his coat because it was this coat. The Rashbam looks at it more, you could say, strategically, as he says, it tells us that they took off the coat because it wants us to understand why later on, when the coat is shown to Yaakov, how did the brothers get the coat? They got the coat because they took it off when they were throwing him in the pit. Fine. But Rashi says, no, it's two different things. They took off Yosef's clothes. Both the ketonet, which he says is his shirt, and the ketonet pasim, the special cloak. They took off his shirt and they took off his cloak. Now you can ask the question, why take off the man's shirt? I understand you want to throw him into the pit, fine. But to rip off his clothes, to take off his shirt, I understand the coat again, whatever reason. That's what you really hate. That's what's going to be the evidence. But why take off his shirt? Or Chaim says something that's shocking. He says the brothers came with so much rage and anger that they did not, in a premeditated or gentle way, say, now Joseph, I want you to take off your jacket. They ripped out of their anger that they looked and they saw that the next thing he was naked. Right? They'd ripped all of his clothes off him. Okay, at least they didn't, it seems, hurt him, but the clothes were really a substitute for that, really played that role. In contrast, think about the time some years ago that I was mugged. I was walking on the street and these guys came up to me and pointed something at me. It looked like a gun. I didn't look too closely. And they said, look, give us whatever you've got, cell phone, wallet, the whole thing. So I gave them what I had and they took it and they ran away. And it wasn't a pleasant experience, obviously, but I wouldn't say it was traumatic. It wasn't, God forbid, violent. I was absolutely fine afterwards. They obviously were fine because they had all my stuff, but it was okay. It wasn't something that left me shaky and uneasy, because the whole thing was done in can I say, a fairly restrained way. That yes, there was the threat and there was a do this or we'll kill you. But I did it, and they didn't kill me. Thank God, everything was okay. Yosef, it wasn't like that. It wasn't calm. It wasn't restrained. The Orach Chaim says that it was a situation filled with violence and aggression, and they, again, ripping his clothes off him, that even if they only intended to take his coat, they ended up taking everything. Now, you only do that, or the brothers did that, filled with a righteous indignation. He is so bad, Yosef, trying to rule over us, exactly whatever it is, how they saw it, a threat to the family. He is so bad, we need to destroy him. And that was, the clothes were a proxy, in a sense, for their destruction of him. But what we see later on in chapter 42, when the brothers are speaking about it, and Reuven is rebuking them, he says, didn't I tell you, don't hurt him, when he cried out to us for help and we ignored his pleas, which isn't mentioned over here in the Sidra. Right? We don't hear the words of Yosef. But Yosef is sitting there begging the brothers, don't do this. And they still did. And the Rav Shimshon Raphael Hirsch notes the word that's used, Aval Ashemim Anachnu. Ashem, he says, we are guilty, comes from the word Shmama, desolation. Actually, we are desolate. Actually, we are empty. Actually, we were filled with righteous rage, and we thought that we had so much within us. Asheimim anachnu. Actually, that was emptiness. Actually, we had nothing within us. And so often we are filled, we are driven, we feel, especially when it comes to issues of anger, it's the principle of the thing. I'm filled with a righteous indignation. No, says Reuven, you're not filled with anything. You're filled with emptiness. And that's something that we always have to work out before we say or do anything in anger and rage, even a quote-unquote righteous rage. The brothers also thought they were filled with righteous rage. So much so that they, in a sense, lost control, ripping off all his clothes. But in the end, the conclusion was, Asheimim anachnu. This was not done from the fullness of something good, but rather from emptiness. Please God, we should be filled with good things, and our actions should be based on goodness, on holiness, on Torah, Shabbat.